I very early on, one of the first questions I asked DMC was, can we knock this wall out? So here we are. Hi, my name is Trevor. I purchased this place a couple of years ago from a friend of mine who he originally purchased it from the first owner back in 2007 when it was built. It never had a walkthrough. It never had an inspection done on it when it was first built, and there were a lot of things wrong with it. There was a lot of just little things that weren't finished properly that should have been fixed afterwards, and the carpet was gross, and primarily, like, this wall used to be a wall, and the kitchen was tiny, and it was just, it's such a beautiful spot, and it's such a beautiful, just the location of it and the unit itself. It needed to be cleaned up a little bit. So I found myself needing a place for my son and I, and decided that I wanted to make this place perfect for me. So here we are. DMC was word of mouth for me. It was through a high school friend on Facebook. I had seen that she had done a lot of interior design work over the years and was impressed with her work. So I reached out to her and asked her if she would be interested in taking on this project. And she said, yes, do you have a contractor? And I said, no. And so she recommended DMC. She and Dan came, she introduced us, and I went over their portfolio, went over what they had done, and they were very impressive. And so from the beginning, their upfront professionalism and the layout of, this is what we are going to do for you, and this is what it's going to cost, and no changes to that. And primarily, one of the things that impressed me most about them was I was staying at my girlfriend's place just up the street, so I would pop by in the evenings and just check in on progress. And every time I came by, unannounced, they didn't know I was going to be coming, and every time it was cleaned. It was the day after the demolition, the day after they knocked out walls and ripped everything out and made a disastrous mess here. The next day it was clean. You'd never know it. And that really strikes me as a company that takes pride in what they do, a company that takes pride in what they are doing, and they care for my place as much as I would. So yeah, I was very impressed by that. But I didn't have any there. I can't really think of any. There were, problems with the cabinets, problems with they had to remake these doors because they were strong enough and they were cracking in the corners. But there were none of them were problems that were the result of incompetence. None of them were problems as a result of anything that DMC did wrong or anything. Like they were just minor hiccups as you'd find in a renovation of this scale, of this size. So, and every little thing was handled very professionally and very well. Martin was pretty much running the show here, and he was fantastic. He was good. His communication was good. I was actually talking to him again today. He's going to come, one of the faucets was leaking, and he's going to come replace it next week. So, Martin was really good, and I'd work with him again. Yeah, my favorite part of the whole process would have been the picking the finishings, picking the colors, picking the counter, the wall behind me. This green was just, it was originally going to be just a plain green subway tile, and decided I wanted to, the place has windows on 3 sides. It's surrounded by forest and trees and green, and I wanted to bring some more of that into the suite and bring some green in, and I figured that, I thought this would just pop and just give it that little bit of extra color inside, and I think it really did. I'm really happy with how it turned out. One of my key driving desires was ease of cleaning, and I didn't want grout lines. I didn't want things, corners and nooks and stuff that would collect dirt and get dirty. That's why I went with this, because there's one grow line in the whole wall. So I used the same thing for the bathrooms, the same single panel for the showers, and it worked. It turned out beautifully. They did a very good job. It's pretty much exactly what I had hoped for. It's what I had designed and envisioned in my head. There's really nothing that didn't get done how I wanted it done, and there isn't really anything that isn't how I was hoping it would be. Pretty much everything is perfect. My favorite has got to be the kitchen. As I've said, I like to cook, and getting rid of this wall and opening this wall up was hands down the best thing that I did to this unit. Was the best thing that could have been done to this unit, just opening it up and giving it this space and openness that it now has. Just I like how it's clean. I like how it's finished, and how there is nothing wrong with this place. There is not a single defect in the paint. The paint is, they did a good job with the paint work. All the moldings, trim, the floor, there isn't anything wrong with it. And I've done my own minor renovations and work before, and people are saying, oh, you should have just done this yourself. You could do it, and you could have saved yourself a ton of money. And yeah, but I would have gotten it to 90% and been okay with it. Whereas if you're paying somebody else to do it, it's going to be 100%. And if it's not, they're going to make it before you're not going to pay them. So yeah, I'm very happy with the results. I would highly recommend DMC Contracting. They were very professional. They were, it was not a cheap process, but you get what you pay for. You pay a little bit more, you get a lot more, and it was definitely worth going with someone professional like DMC.